All right, we are live and my counter reset again. I got to figure that out. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be chatting with my co-host again, and today our market segment expert about Kuna, Idaho. Why are people moving to Kuna, Idaho? What to expect? Reasons that you would want to live there as opposed to other areas of the valley. Lifestyle, recreation, all the agenda items that you see on the screen here. We're going to chat with Chase Hodgson. We'll bring him on the episode. How you doing, Chase?
I'm doing fantastic, Jerod. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for your patience on the technical difficulties. This stuff is great until something hangs it up, but we're back on track.
Right. Until it isn't, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we do want to share with the audience a little bit more about what I meant about you being the market segment. We have other topics sharing the highlights of different communities within the Treasure Valley. We've done one on Harris Ranch, Columbia Village, and whatnot. So you're our co-host on the lending side, as well as having lived your whole life in the Kuna, Idaho area. So you're going to be our market expert today, so folks can reach out to you about either side of the question.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go. I'm ready.
Perfect. Well, let me do a couple of housekeeping items here just real quick. First off is for those of you that I haven't met, my name is Jerod Lee. I'm the associate broker and team lead at My Home Connection, also known as MHC Realty. Our sponsor today, just real briefly, is the perfect home buying process. We've developed this over the last couple of decades to make your home buying process more efficient, easier, and fun. Just implemented a lot of tools over time to simplify the process, from market neighborhood reports to off-market properties, to sharing secrets of our industry that consumers should know about. We do have an almost 100-page relocation and lifestyle guide that we'll show you today, actually, because there's a breakdown of the Kuna, Idaho area. So all these tools are at your disposal, of which we also have a podcast series we send out weekly to you to answer a lot of the questions you're going to have in your home buying process. And just reach out to us, reference this, and we'll get you take advantage of our current offer that Chase and Summit Funding have partnered with us on to get you up to $500 on your appraisal and another $500 on your home inspection. And I'll talk a little bit more at the end of the episode about how to take advantage of that. But let's bring Chase back on and just chat a little bit about why it is that folks move to Kuna as opposed to other areas of the valley.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know you brought up the schedule, right, of topics to talk about there in the beginning. I think the main reason that we're seeing, and the feedback that I get from the clients that I work with that are moving out there, is just lifestyle. Like that's a big draw to Kuna right now. Kuna is considered a bedroom community,
Mm-hmm.
and basically that means you're not going to have the big manufacturers, the big employers, and all of that in Kuna. And so 90% of the public every day leaves town to go to work, which kind of gives you that quiet little area. And then the growth, the growth is kind of that we're experiencing, which is considerable. It's kind of confined to pretty much one area, right? And so you still have a lot of openness around. We still have, a lot of farming and dairy out in that area, and so we have a lot of open ground, and you still get that, that down home, small town feel.
Yeah, I popped up Google Maps here. I just wanted to give the folks a little idea, one, of where Kuna is located. We're pretty much southwest of Boise, immediately south of Meridian. You'll still notice a difference commuting from, let's say, Meridian to Kuna. There's agricultural land in between the two, and so
Right.
you'll notice when you leave one and get into the other. Whereas Boise, Meridian, Nampa, those have all kind of pretty much blended together. It's unless you see the signs transitioning from one city to another,
Right.
you wouldn't really notice. But just to give you some perspective on where we're at in the valley, and then Maps has some nice
If you
photos
look,
here.
Yeah, if you look too, if you zoom out on that one part that you were just on,
Uh-huh.
something that's really beneficial to where Kuna is located, you're pretty much equidistant from Napa and Boise, and Meridian. So it's really centrally located, unless you're trying to get to Eagle. it's a fairly easy commute when you think about where you're located in the valley.
Yeah, and Meridian Road's probably the most trafficked, heading up to I-84 here. But there's all
Yeah.
kinds of back roads if there's construction or traffic that you can kind of navigate into Boise, Meridian, Nampa. So it's super convenient to get into um, the more dense areas, the bigger employers like you mentioned.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Commutes really aren't too bad from there. I
Yeah.
know. I do it every day.
So yeah, because you work in Meridian, so you're driving that commute.
Yep.
I did want to just briefly bring up a resource sooner than later. This is myhomeconnection.com. Under our neighborhoods. You can go to Kuna. This will show you a little map of Kuna, as well as just bring you a ton of information. Average home sales price, median sales price, how many listings are on the market, population, some of the homes that are currently active, as well as some solds, just to give you an idea of what type of, we call it inventory or product we have in those areas. A lot of new construction out in your area.
Yep. Very much. Yeah. Very much so. It was so small before, right? Mostly older homes. So there's not a lot of existing inventory being sold. It's a lot of new construction, and most of the existing inventory is newer because there just wasn't a ton of. It was a very small town when it started to grow.
Yeah, I
And
actually showed a couple. Sorry, there if I cut you off. But
yeah, good.
Kuna last week, and they were asking, about existing homes. Like, am I going to, get many of those in my price point and all that? And I said, they'll come on the market, but it's very infrequent. It's almost all
Yeah.
new construction.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a plus and a minus. You if you get into some of those areas out around Kuna, in between Kuna and Melba and Kuna and Napa, and like you can still, possibility of getting something on a small acreage or larger lots, or there's still ground out there being sold, right? It's not, you have the opportunity for space. Again, you have to watch for it. You have to search hard, search for it in this market, but that's one of the areas in the valley that still has that available.
Yeah, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because we want to talk about more than real estate, but just give you some idea of where the pricing has been and is going, as well as some of the housing details, owned versus rented, some of the listing details of your typical homes, the taxes around there, nearby schools, the average annual, or at least quarterly
Hmm.
temperatures, some of the demographics to consider in the area. So this will just be a great resource for you to take a look at. But I'll go back to the map here, and you can kind of share, different areas to make sure you see when you're visiting Kuna.
Right.
Would you say is one of those touristy things you
Oh
must
my
see
God.
first and foremost?
So there's some pretty unique things out in Kuna. We have the Kuna Caves out there, which is, it's a pretty big draw until you get out there and see it, and not to, put it down, but it's kind of a hole in the ground, out in the desert, right?
Yep,
So it's there and you can go see it, but I think there's a lot
literally.
better things to do out there. It literally is.
You know, there's a lot in the valley in Idaho, southwest Idaho. I've been here since '94, so many, many years. And I constantly hear somebody saying, "Have you seen this? Have you done that?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't been there. I have yet to make it out to Kuna Caves. Embarrassing.
you're,
But if you're a spelunker, what's that?
you're fine.
Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be on my bucket list,
No, no, definitely not.
but
It's a
it is.
backside area out there, so in the desert.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're into spelunking and you want to hit these caves,
Yeah,
this will just give you an idea. You're 50 feet down, 15 meters, deep, but you're just going into these caves and kind of navigating that. So that's just one of those things you're going to hear first and foremost. But one of the things that I know is the creek, Indian Creek. That's from my
that's
understanding the
huge.
biggest
That's
draw.
that's probably the biggest draw in the summer, to be quite honest with you. Well, for the people just going out there, the locals, something that gets done every day. They float Indian Creek. We have a green belt that goes along there, park along a lot of it. that includes baseball fields and a splash pad, and they're constantly expanding on that. And there's rumors to another big park and baseball fields being constructed now. So it's there's a the community had, like I said, has that small town feel with some of the bigger town, like the Boise Greenbelt's a big draw, right? And so they're trying to piggyback off that and have their own. But I'm telling you, Indian Creek gets packed in the summer when it's hot. People float in that creek.
Yeah. So you're
Um,
rafting, paddleboarding. I think it's a little rough for paddleboarding, as I've heard, right?
some areas of it, but there's still a lot of people that do it for sure.
Okay.
But it's a good time. Not too dangerous. Lots of families and little kids and everybody participating in that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree. That's probably one of the bigger draws. If you're looking for something local in town, personally for me, the location of Kuna to everything else is what's great, right? And
Yeah.
so if you drive directly south of Kuna up to Swan Falls, there's the dam there, Swan Falls Dam, that generates power, but they have a park there, and there's fishing. Like, it's a very, very short commute out to the Snake River and all that it has, right? They're just south of town is a birds of prey area, um, and so there's just the access to very unique and cool things to do outdoors. And that Snake River, you can fish for bass, you can fish for trout, you can fish for sturgeon. There's just a ton of things to do. There's areas out there that have the what do you call the hieroglyphs out there on the rocks. Ton of history just south of town, right?
Hmm.
And then if you get, but what's considered in Kuna as well is Falcon Crest Golf Course, right? Like, that's part of Kuna, which is one of the preeminent golf courses in the valley. Lots of real estate becoming available there, as that expands and grows. And just to the west of there, there's Blacks Creek Gun Range, where you can go shoot trap. Um, you can also, there's a just a target shooting area out there as well. And all these things are just a short drive from Kuna, right? It's considered part of our community and the activities that we get to participate in out there.
Hmm. Yeah, I was just showing more of Falcon Crest, but yeah, to your point, if you're looking, for golfing, desirable golfing with residences, they're building quite a bit around that community. That's a very up and coming development.
Yeah, yes, very much so. So, like, that, the outdoor life in Kuna is extensive if that's what you're looking for and that's what you want, right? Um, which I think a lot of Idahoans are. Right there, that's the Swan Falls Dam. It's one of my favorites. My kids and I go camping there every year. They got a park where you can camp overnight, fish and hang out. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do there. You can take the four wheelers and go back into the mountains out there, or the Razor, or whatever it is that you've got,
Hmm.
and it's a pretty short drive. Once you get out there in the desert, and drop down in there, there's no cell service, so it's really peaceful too.
There you go. Get away from your leash.
That's right.
Just real quick, I did want to point out what I'm showing you here is that relocation guide that I mentioned. This is almost 100 pages of just the whole Treasure Valley and the different cities, communities and things to do within the valley. So I'm just in the Kuna section here. So part of that perfect home buying process is to get you this relocation lifestyle guide for you to familiarize yourself with the area. Obviously, you can call us and we'll share answers to whatever questions. But if you just want something that you can download and kind of rifle through on your own, this is a great resource for that. There's just a couple of pages here that I was just at.
Yeah, that is really well put together, Jared, to have all the blurbs and all the different areas to help people choose where they want to be. I really like how that's done. Impressed with
Yeah.
that.
Just real quick, because I'm seeing it here that we haven't talked about yet are the birds of prey. I
Yeah.
guess the raptor presence
Yep.
there in Kuna is
Yep.
one of the best in the country, as I've heard.
Yep. Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Yeah, they're protected. They're very well protected. Obviously, the out in South Boise, I think it's still considered South Boise. I don't know if it's South Boise or Ada County, is the birds of prey. The National Birds of Prey Office. and then that spreads from there south and west and covers most of Kuna, right? And so that there's a lot going on out there. As far as what you can see and do. It's just fantastic the way they protect those birds and the types of falcons and raptors and everything that you can see.
I was trying to pull up Boyd's birds of prey here. Um, huh. Usually it comes up and shows the whole area of where that is, but there's
Right.
just a
Outline.
massive, what do they call it? Conservation? Preservation
Preservation, yeah, 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 yeah. It's
area
huge.
here.
Encompasses a lot of the ground south of Kuna.
Idaho. Well, I won't spend a ton of time on that, but I did want to. Peregrine Funds World. Anyway, but yeah, I mean the website here for Birds of Prey, you can certainly hit that and get some more information. But that's a super big draw for the area.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, and it's and another plus about that is that being a preservation area, like they're not going to build on that, right? Like those grounds will always stay open. Cuna's always going to have that space, between there and Swan Falls. Most of that will always be open.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it expands all the time with the population coming in as far as like the trails and the things that you can do out there. So they've been planning a lot of good things for Cuna for sure.
Yeah. Well, you've talked about quite a bit. I do want to add on one thing because we talked about the Indian Creek Greenbelt,
Yeah,
and I'm embarrassed to say I haven't been on that. But as Chase mentioned earlier, I live in Eagle, so Eagle's probably the furthest distance away. But the Boise River Greenbelt goes through Boise, Meridian, Eagle, and then out west. Um, but to Chase's point, the Indian Creek Greenbelt, if they model at all the Boise River Greenbelt, it's the Boise River Greenbelt's amazing, right? They've got restaurants that you can pop off onto, and all those things to do as he mentioned. So, the Indian Creek Greenbelt, if they're at all going to introduce the concept that they've introduced on the Boise River, it's going to be amazing. And it sounds like it already is. I don't.
it's really nice, much shorter, right? Like Boise's been working on it for a lot of years, so we're much shorter. But it's a nice walk through town or a jog or whatever, with the parks and there's a couple of restaurants in close. Actually, you know, uh, Enrique's, which is very famous, is just off one part of the green belt. His Mexican restaurant has been out there forever. Is a huge draw. Just absolutely packed every single every single weekend night. Most weeknights it's packed as well. So
So I was
very
going to pull it up, but I don't want to spell it too bad to embarrass myself too terribly too terribly bad.
NR, that's probably where I'd stop.
There we go. Look at that. Thank you, Google. There we
Not going to
go.
be much up there.
Yeah, it's right off of Indian Creek here.
Yeah,
We've gone out there. I have made it out there for dinner. It's just a super unique. Actually, even for the valley, you
yeah.
wouldn't think that it's in the Treasure Valley, let alone in Cuna. But Enrique's just done an amazing job. So this is either the second or third location that he's
Yes,
built.
it'd be the second. The original one they expanded right there in that footprint, and then they moved over to this other building, and he's taken most of that building at this point. So
Yeah, they'll while you're waiting, you can play cornhole, bago, whatever part of the country you're from that you're used to that. They've got some other activities that you can do as you're waiting, but the food's great, the atmosphere is great. I would consider it a must see as far as food,
yeah,
not just in Cuna, but in the Treasure Valley.
no, absolutely, absolutely. Yep, I agree.
So.
I agree. A little biased, but I definitely agree.
Anyway, all right. Well, I won't spend too much time on that one, but just wanted to give you a
Yeah,
feel for where it's at relative to the Cuna area.
yeah, and backing up a little bit as far as things to do in Cuna too. There's some seasonal stuff that just packs the house. every fall before school starts, or right around the time school starts, we have what's called Kuna Days, and there's a big fair there with rides and all kinds of activities and concerts, and they do just an incredible fireworks show there. One of the weekend nights, usually Saturday night, one like you've never seen. I promise, it's pretty incredible.
Are
And then
these
you
from
also
this? These are probably from
yeah,
CUNA
oh,
days,
yeah,
right?
that's the parade. That's the Kuna Days parade for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then you've got the Lowe's family farmstead, in the fall, around that Halloween season and everything. Lowe's is that farmstead with all their activities and things for kids to do, and the giant corn maze. That's part of Kuna too. So, it's there's some seasonal things that are pretty incredible as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
can
the
see a lot of that growth is new. A lot of the commercials new, and there's more coming in and all the time. So.
I was just going to go there actually, so thank you for the segue, Chase. But um, my understanding is that the services side of things was pretty rough. Traditionally, you didn't have a lot of choices for restaurants. You didn't have some of the bigger grocery chains. Maybe even to get your hair cut, probably had a couple of choices, or you went into town, right,
Or
or
one,
something like,
or one, yeah.
or
Most
one,
people went
yeah.
for what they wanted. It was very, very limited in Kuna.
Yeah, I mean, you got your C store. My guess is for the longest time that that's
Yeah,
where you went.
yeah.
Yeah, but now what I wanted to share is if you look at CUNA now, kind of zoom in, you'll see. Um, I was going to start showing some of this
Over
Albertsons and
Kuna Meridian Highway over there is where a lot of it is coming in. You've got Albertsons, you've got Ridley's, you've got a D&B. Gosh, what else? A lot of the usual suspects when it comes to fast food that we never had before.
yeah, Arby's, um,
Yep.
Jersey Mike's, which what are those? Just last couple of years, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, with
If that.
2 years max. That little commercial strip just went up very recently. So
Uh,
we're getting to where we have some choices. You've got the world famous Reed's Dairy out there, which is just incredible. If you're looking for ice cream or chocolate milk, they're like, I'm telling you, if you've
Really
never had chocolate milk from Reed's Dairy, you should. It's like nothing you've ever had.
awesome,
They use
awesome.
potato flakes in it. It's pretty
These
interesting.
what?
Potato flakes.
Really? I wouldn't. Huh?
Yes, it is the thickest, creamiest stuff you've ever had. Like my go-to is a Huckleberry shake made with their chocolate milk, and it
You
is
know,
out of
our huckleberry in this area, which I think a lot of it comes from up north, like
yeah.
Donnelly, Cascade area, but huckleberry is a thing here. If you, I mean, our topic isn't Donnelly today, but if you go to Donnelly, I think it's literally called the Huckleberry Festival. You get huckleberry everything: huckleberry margaritas, huckleberry pie, huckleberry
Yeah.
shakes, huckleberry. I mean, weird stuff, huckleberry stuff that I would have
Yeah,
never
we're a
guessed.
bunch
But
of
anyway,
huckleberries.
what's that?
We're just a bunch of huckleberries.
Yeah, there you go. So just a little more context here. This Kuna Road, Meridian Road. This is kind of where a lot of the newer infrastructure is coming in, but downtown, where we saw that C store, is kind of deeper uh,
Yep.
into Kuna here, which is quaint, which is awesome. Definitely got to see. But if you want to get some things done, like tire changes or pick up groceries or get fast food, you're probably just sticking to the main thoroughfare here.
Yep. Yep.
Where's
And
the
it's like
Albertsons?
it's 5 minutes tops. So Albertsons is to the south. So Ridley's is there by all the new growth, and just if you go down around the corner there on Meridian Highway, it's right there. Albertsons is right there as you come in town. A little bit
Okay.
closer to the old downtown part. You
Oh,
can
okay.
see
Oh,
it
there it
right.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would show up bigger just because it's
Yeah.
Albertsons, but anyway.
Unless Schwab is right there, right? So we got the big tire center in town now. Uh,
Woohoo.
yeah, I honestly like it sounds cliche, but I remember the day when we had was one stop sign in town. That was it. So,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
we're definitely seeing some growth out there. Things are coming.
Awesome. Yeah, speaking of growth, let's share just a little bit of real estate. One of the big communities, and we'll probably have to do an episode on just this community, but Indian Creek Ranch is definitely one of the big up and coming developments. Developer went in, has a handful of builder partners that they've brought in tow, and they're just doing a phenomenal job of building some great quality, great style homes with a lot of great amenities. You know, you're talking your pickleball, your tot lots. I think there's basketball out there. But if you're in Kuna, this would, you know, depending on what you need for budget and size of home, you'll probably look at Indian Creek.
Hmm. Yeah, it is built along the creek there. Nice, quaint little bit out of town. Quieter. Yeah, it's well positioned for
Yeah,
sure.
community pool that you see here, some water parks. Yeah, M3 is developing that. They've developed quite a number of our communities here in the valley. Just to give you an idea, you've got Biltmore out there. You've got Tresidio out there. Why am I drawing some blanks here? I was going to say Silverado, but that's not right. But anyway, good builders, good quality builders, for sure. Great style, great amenity level.
Yeah, and that picture right there shows you like there's still a lot of open ground out here in Kuna. Still get that small town feel no matter where you're at.
The development is further along now than you're seeing here.
Yeah.
This is probably a year or two old, so you've got quite a few more homes in, and there's Indian Creek right there, so it's literally
Yep.
right around along Indian Creek. But yeah, there's quite a bit more development out there, but there's definitely lots that have not been built on that need to be built on, but a lot more of the infrastructure around the community. But it gives you an idea of the wide roads that they have and roughly the size of the lots. These are, probably 2,000 to 3,500 square foot homes on average.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's
So,
about right. Yeah, and that's also when you're out in
oh,
the summer wanting to wanting to float the river. That's also where you get in to Indian Creek to start your float. So
gotcha. You're going to go right by there anyway. So this
that's
is a little
absolutely
on south side of town. So you're going to be even kind of that much more distant. I think a lot of the building is going to be kind of north of here, butting up into Meridian. Is that fair to say?
yes. I think so. That's what we're seeing. The new developments and the plat that I've seen, they want to. It's one of those things, right? Like it's just the towns get into their own little like annexation, who gets what, and so they got to stake their claim up north before Meridian encompasses it, right? So that's
Yeah.
the direction that they've been working, and the southern stuff has been much slower to grow.
Ventana's out there. Um, Sterling. I said Silverado earlier, but Sterling's out there. I think I already said Biltmore. So a good handful of good quality builders for sure. Um, yeah, other than that, let me bounce back to our outline agenda here a little bit more. We talked about, well, we already went to resources, lifestyle guide, website. Events, I think the only other thing that I wanted to make it a point that I don't know that we touched on um, was the farmer's market. I think that's
Oh
a,
yeah, yeah. Every Saturday, right? We got the farmers market out there. A lot of local companies bring in local farmers bringing in goods, and it's a nice, quaint, like little small town farmers market still right there at Bernie Fisher Park. Who, by the way, was I don't know if you know a little bit of history. I was very blessed growing up to know Bernie. He is a veteran pilot, and I'm trying to remember the exact if he was Air Force or not. I think so, but he was a hero. Received the Medal of Honor, and to have that in Kuna, I used to go listen to him speak growing up, and so that park's named after him, which is
awesome.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And then we also within the last couple of years, and it's been I was trying to remember, but they're starting up the rodeo out there again. I think it's been 2 years now in a row that we've had the rodeo, and which is amazing. I think it's something like 80 or 100 years since they've had a rodeo out there, which is interesting to me because we're such a small town and based around that lifestyle. So, but that's another little thing we've got going on out there as well. Lots to do, really lot to do out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think we've hit all the major topics, unless you can think of one. But um, yeah, um, I mean, we could probably talk about Kuna all day long, especially yourself, because that's your life.
It's one of those things, right? You growing up out there and everything. It's kind of, doing what I do for a living, what you do for a living. We want to give people the best picture that we can to help them make their decision. At the same time, you know, maybe don't want to sell it off so well, so it
You,
doesn't grow quite as fast.
yeah, let's wrap it up with that very idea. Is you've lived here longer than I have, but I've been here since '94. I've raised my kids, and I call this home. This is the longest by far that I've ever lived, um, and it is a great place. There's a lot of articles, a lot of publications stating how great the Treasure Valley is, and it's kind of a bittersweet that the secret's out. It's fun to share, but it's also, we're a little cautious, if we're honest, that we hope that people that are relocating here are sensitive to keeping Idaho the way that it's been, because in large part it's as desirable it is because of that. So we don't want to,
Yeah,
you know, bring stuff that's undesirable that people are leaving into
right.
Idaho. And I'm a little sensitive about how I say that, but would you
Yeah.
second that?
I think we're known. I've got a number of very, very good, that I consider very good friends that are from, other states, California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, New Mexico, that have moved here. And, some of the first things that they say when they get here is, "Oh, it's so clean," and it is, compared to big cities, especially the size that has become now. It's very clean. And then, the second thing that I always hear is people are so nice. And I
Hmm.
think that's probably what scares me the most, is that, like, in being from a small town, I love that feel. I love that
Yeah.
your neighbors wave at you. I love that everybody smiles, and if you ask them a question, they're friendly and helpful, and that's the kind of stuff that's important to me, that I don't want to lose.
Yeah. Hey man, you hit it more articulate and better than I did. I heard some quick video the other day about the power of a smile. And,
Yeah.
I've lived in California and Washington, um, visited a lot of other big cities, and quite often they think you're weird if you smile and wave. They think you're
Hmm.
strange. That's not the atmosphere, the environment, the lifestyle we want to, create here. We want people to feel good about being waved at, be smiled at, that somebody, is interested in your best interest, would help you out, that kind of mentality. So, if that's the kind of approach to life that you're looking at, then this is a great place to live.
Oh, absolutely. It's the best. The best.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a good point to wrap it up. I'll share just briefly a little bit more, as I promised. If you want to reach out to us, our contact information is at myhomeconnection.com, an email address and phone number at the top right. Again, just reference the perfect home buying process, and we'll get you that free, no obligation consultation to just give you a better idea of what to anticipate moving into the area, and all the other tools that I've mentioned here. So with that, we'll wrap it up. And thanks again, Chase, for coming on.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, man. You have a great day, and all you listeners out there have a great day as well.
Thanks, Chase. Have a blessed one, everybody.